Hello everyone, my name is Pacha and welcome back to another episode of Wahat Jamila, our desert zoo. And in this episode we are gonna go big, guys. We are gonna build the biggest habitat that we will build in the zoo. I'm sure to say that. We are gonna build the big savannah, as I call it, probably in the intro or in the, not an intro, but in the thumbnail. Yeah, we are gonna build a multi-species habitat for African hoofstock right across the wonderful creation that Mr. Gecko made for us as a guest builder, and right in front or behind, better say, behind the warthog exhibit that we built in the last episode, which was a tiny and fine exhibit, but this time we are gonna go bigger. We built for, I think, 3 different species. Yeah, it's 3 different species. We are gonna build for the blue wildebeest, we are gonna build for the gemsbok, and we're gonna build for the springbok. So 2 base camp animals, and with the blue wildebeest we have 1 animal from the amazing Grasslands DLC, which was released, if I'm not incorrect, last year. So, and yeah, so it introduced 8 different animals from grasslands around the world, and among them was the blue wildebeest, and definitely an upgrade to the black wildebeest that we had in the base game, model wise and looks wise and everything wise. And it was, I think it's the only one of the only animals, not it was the only animal from the grassland pack that I haven't built for so far. So this was a perfect opportunity to build for it now. And I'm really inspired here by big savannah exhibits like in the San Diego Zoo, like in Zoo Leipzig, like in, yeah, I think Zoo Berlin, not Zoo Africa, Zoo Berlin also opened their new big savannah exhibit last year, I think, and I was fortunate enough to see it this year when I was visiting this, not Zoo Berlin, Tierpark Berlin, I should clarify, because there are 2 zoos in Berlin, but it was Tierpark Berlin who opened a new savannah exhibit. But yeah, these are all my inspirations for a big open grassland, or desert in this case, field with multiple different species that coexist together and benefit from each other. And in order to do that, in order to bring also the guests closer to our new hoofstock yard, so to say, we're gonna extend the little outlook post, the little raised platform that we did last time, which serves as a connection piece also between the 2 warthog exhibit due to a tunnel underneath it, and we extend it up to this more larger platform, which will be sitting directly in the middle of that exhibit. And it will also serve a double purpose, because it also serves as a dining spot for the Sahara Grill. This is the restaurant that Mr. Gecko has built for me in this file, in this zoo. And he did an amazing job. I just have to add an interior to that restaurant, because that is something he didn't do. And he also asked if it could have an outdoor dining spot, and I said, yeah, of course, that is a cool idea. And so we are creating now this extended outdoor area over here, where the guests can dine under the umbrella of a big tree. I think it's the sausage tree, if I'm reading it on the screen now correctly. Yeah, the one with the weird dangly fruits on it. Really cool. I don't know if I ever would have used it if not in the context of the zoo. So it's really cool to find a usage here for that. I also was playing the idea of using acacia tree. We also used them in our rhino exhibit. But I think this one has a more fuller crown, fuller top, so it provides more shadow to the guests as well as the animals. And if you're looking at the screen now, you see that if you're looking how deep that tree actually is in the ground, you're seeing how low actually this platform is. It is, if you would have long arms, you could probably touch the animals if they would come close enough, but we are going to prevent that. We're going to prevent that they get too close, and that this prevention or this safety measurement allows us to have this so low to the ground, basically, that they could almost hop or jump on the platform if they want to. But we will use some various techniques to prevent that. One of them, of course, being hot grass. That is a style of invisible fencing almost, using thin strands of wiring that look like very thin grass thin grass blades, and which are of course powered by electricity. The idea behind it is that it blends in with the foliage around it, and thus preventing any visible barriers basically. And it's a very old zoo trick. I used it quite a lot in different zoos like Wahat Jamila, but also in Raven Creek, to prevent animals from getting to certain areas. And it works in the way that I used it. I used the, I think, grasslands animal statue pole, I think it's called, or something like that, or grassland pole. The only piece, or one of the only pieces that we got was the grassland animal pack, which is an amazing piece to use. It is a metal pole basically. I used that, and then just a simple metal rod at the end to create this effect of grasses that are electric grasses that prevent animals, and due to the hitboxes of these animals, most of them can't go through these electric grass poles basically. And the other one is that what you're seeing here right now, and that is a lot of tiny rocks, and this is something that is actually used by a couple of zoos for hoofstock yards. Most prominent right now that I can think of is Leipzig, with their big Kilimanjaro savannah, I think it's called. So they have a lot of rocks at certain places, and due to how sensitive hoofs are for hoofstock, go figure, they don't like really to step, or at least African hoofstock doesn't like to step on a lot of pointy and small rocks, because it's not a nice feeling for their hoofs basically. So they also don't go into these areas. They evade them. And so we have these two measures. We have the hot grass and we have the pebbles basically, and these prevent the animals from getting too close. You also saw me placing hot grass on the border to the warthogs exhibit. I will later delete these hot grass pieces because they obstruct the view a little bit, and I thought it's not as dangerous for the animals to come closer to the barrier of the warthogs, because it is also still a moat, so there is still another measure to prevent them from escaping, because they probably don't jump into the moat or over the moat if it's wide enough and deep enough. And since it's a quite deep moat for the warthogs, it's way more than enough if we just have the rocks and the moat to prevent them from escaping. And then we use something that I think it's from San Diego Zoo, could be also another American zoo. I'm not too safe with all what every American zoo has as a specialty. But if I just say San Diego Zoo, probably is a different one. But they have also a big savannah exhibit over there. And the way that they hide basically behind fences, so the backdrop fences, is to have erased terrain. And I think other zoos use it as well, so that you have like a little hill made of terrain, of dirt and stuff like that. And behind that you hide your fences, you hide your barriers. And from a guest perspective, it looks like there are no fences. There's just this hill, which of course could just be a natural hill that leads to more space behind it, but actually there is a fence or a moat behind that prevents them from escaping. And I tried to set it up in as best way as possible. It took me quite a lot of time to get it right, so that you don't see any piece of fence anymore when you're standing on the observation deck or the dining deck, whatever you want to call it. And in the end, I think it looks quite right. At the moment, it looks a little bit weird that we have this huge dirt sausage basically, lying there. But once all the trees come in, or the rocks come in, or the other low ground foliage and stuff like that, it really blends in well. And also I created, as we see in the background, I created some more sand dunes almost in the background to blend it in more cohesively, so that you think, okay, this is just another hill of many other hills, and the animals could theoretically wander out into the distance and explore the wild area around them, the deserts and stuff like that, where they come from. I also decided, speaking of where they come from, to go for animals that live in more arid environments. Of course, the Gemsbok is a prime candidate for that, living in the deserts, but also animals like the wildebeest and the springbok have been known not only to live in the savannas, but also to live in more drier areas. And the idea before was to could I go with ostriches? Yeah, there was an idea to go with ostriches, also with giraffes, stuff like that, but I didn't want to make this exhibit feel too crowded. I knew I wanted to go for the wildebeest, and I know I wanted to go for the Gemsbok. The Gemsbok actually was a suggestion or a wish from one of my viewers, my community members, because it's their favorite animal. So they wish if I could include the Gemsbok, which of course is a classic desert animal. And the wildebeest, I think it's just a lovely model, and I was always a little bit sad that I haven't used it in any way or form. It doesn't fit in Raven Creek, it doesn't fit. Would I fit in Eye of the Wild, because Eye of the Wild was simply finished at that point and had no space anymore, but in Raven Creek of course it wouldn't fit. So I was really happy when I thought, yeah, I have Wahat Jamila, I could use it, but in what sense could I use them there? And speaking of, coming back to that topic, I now had two big hoofstock species almost. So we had the Gemsbok and the wildebeest, and then I thought, okay, an ostrich would have fit, but would have been a bit too much. In a giraffe would also be, I would have probably needed more space and better security measures then, especially for how low the viewing area is. So I decided I want to go with a small antelope or a small gazelle species in this case. And since we already used the Thompson's gazelle in the neighboring exhibit, which is the wild Somali wild ass exhibit, there we used the Thompson gazelle from the deluxe animal pack, if I'm not incorrect. I decided, okay, let's go for the springbok. And funny enough, when I was buying springboks, I'm just talking here about my experience while we are building some sand pits, which I also did in my American donkey exhibit. Yeah, sand pits where the animals basically can roll around to get rid of parasites. But while I was buying these animals from the market, of course, I got really lucky and I managed to find what is in-game called a king gemsbok, similar to the king cheetah, which I didn't know it existed, and I didn't know that Frontier ever said they added the king gemsbok. But basically what the king gemsbok is, my goodness, is that it is gemsbok with bepalt, not gemsbok, springbok. I'm so sorry. The king springbok, not the king gemsbok. I'm so sorry if you got confused. The king springbok, of course. Yeah, what a king springbok is that it is a springbok with bepaltism. So bepaltism means partial albinism, so albino, and partial means it only has albino traits in certain areas, so it looks like white spots all over their body where they don't have pigmentation. And for king gemsbok specifically, it only makes itself visible in the back of the animal, so the behind, the lower part of the animal is usually white or has white spots. And while researching this and finding a lot of pictures of people hunting these animals, I found a lot of cool pictures of these of king springbok. If I confuse it one more time, I don't know. But yeah, they're really cool, and I didn't know that Frontier added them. So it's really I feel really happy that I got lucky and found them. And I also found golden wildebeest, I think it's called, a golden wildebeest. So a wildebeest that is, instead of these more grayish brownish color, is orange or golden yellow colored, which is really cool. And I know that it was in game. I also found an albino wildebeest, but I thought I would go for the golden wildebeest instead of the albino, because that is way cooler. And we are in a desert zoo. Albino animals in a lot of sun don't do too well in sunny environments, due to that their skin doesn't really allows them to filter out the sun and the UV lighting. So it's really cool that I found these. And for the wildebeest, it took quite a while, but I finally managed to get it, and you probably saw it in the thumbnail of this video. Also, what you probably saw in the title of this video is that this is a part 1, and you're now seeing me doing the separation to part 2, basically, because this is a long video. You can already see by the runtime of this video that this is a long one. And so I decided to do the whole backstage building, the whole indoor stables and stuff like that. I decided to do them in a second video, which will release next week. So next week will be the part 2 where we do the big stable, the big indoor area for these animals, probably also with a full furnished indoor area. So that will be behind these wood gates over here, which will be connected to the backstage habitats, the backstage stables, and the backstage outdoor areas, and then the indoor stables. So that will be in the next video, but I will still do a tour of this area in this video because it is really cool. I want to show it, and then next time you get a tour of the indoor areas. And then after that we are basically done. We are basically done with what I wanted to build in Wahat Jamila, and this means I only need to do all the indoor areas. And you guys, thank you very much for all your comments and suggestions and ideas and opinions on that matter. And I decided to probably do a video about all the indoor areas. It's not that many. I think it's one for the Mali wild ass, for the sandcat porcupines, and for the addax and dama gazelle. I think otherwise I have all indoor areas. For the rhinos I already did one, and also for the camels. So these will be the ones that I will need to do indoor areas for, and I will include them all in one big video, talking about this and that, and just showing my process of building that, because you guys seem too interested in that, and I can understand it. Building indoor areas can always be a little problematic, especially for us people who are not familiar with how indoor areas look, because we don't work in a zoo. For us, just visitors, because sometimes it is not a comment that it's not a given that we get a view into the indoor areas of a zoo, or about all of the indoor areas of a zoo. And I have a little bit of information gathered around for indoor areas based on different zoos and stuff that I've seen on tours and stuff like that. So I'm sure I can make up, at least for most of the animals, I can make up the indoor areas. So I kind of said that this can be quite interesting for you guys to see. But I already talked around 17 minutes now, and it's notable on my voice, so I will leave you now to the rest of this speed build with some nice and then relaxing music, and we just will focus now, I think, mostly on all the planting and stuff like that. So this, as usual, will be the thing. One thing before we go over there. A quick tip about planting, and I know some people struggle with it. I also made a video about it, how you can elevate your exhibits, basically how you can make the better foliage for that. And another tip I want to just throw in here before we go into some music time is planting or foliaging an exhibit like you do a painting. You have different layers upon layers. So you always have a base layer, which is usually the blank space, and then you do your first layer of, in this case, for example, dry bushes, and then you just add layer upon layer of different plants on that. For example, next we do some logs here, then we will do all the rock stuff, and then bigger bushes, then we do grasses, and slowly but surely you build up basically a picture of your habitat layer by layer. You go over. You can of course also go just crazy and do one area to throw all the plants in there at once, and then go to the next area to throw all the plants in there at once. But I always like to go through the exhibit with one plant or one group of plants, and then go again through the entire exhibit with another group of plants or grasses or rocks. Slowly but surely I build up my plant palette, I build up my exhibit like a picture, basically, like a painting with different layers of paint. I build up this exhibit. But this is just a small quick tip and rant or rumbling about how I go about planting exhibits. And now I will leave you to the music and to the rest of the speed build without commentary, and then I see you in the end for the real-time part. So see you at the end of the video. Alright, and here we are now standing in front of the Warthog exhibit and having already a look onto the savannah. And of course also the King Springbok. Yeah, now I pronounced it right and it is gone. But yeah, this is the King Springbok. You can see the white ass, the white backside of the Springbok over there. And yeah, I'm super happy how everything turned out with the panoramic effect, with the Warthogs in front, with the Springboks and all the other animals in the background with the wide savannah shot. I would have wished to make it even closer, to make it a closer gap, to make it a closer, mode basically. But I also wanted to give the Warthogs as much space as they need to really have a good exhibit. So I'm fine with giving it, with having a little bit more of a wider shot. And I mean, you can still see the animals from here. You can see, identify all the animals. And it just shows you and it draws you more onto the viewing platform to get an even up close look. But I think it still works and it sells even more the idea that this is a more wider, more open exhibit than it actually is basically. Let's check out quickly the other side before we go onto the viewing platform over here. So on this side we have the look onto the watering hole, and we can also see our golden wildebeest. As if I planned this. Yeah, this is a golden variant of the wildebeest, which I think it looks awesome with this orange hue. Really, really unique. And yeah, we can also see, of course, the Gemsbok and more Springbok over here. We have these sunshades basically, which I took from many different zoos that I saw in my life that had these type of sunshades for the African area. Very themed, I know, very on the nose, but it works, I think. It works in itself, the idea, and the animals don't care how it looks, only that it provides shade, so that is good enough, basically. But yeah, let's go on to the actual viewing platform, because this is really the coolest part of this exhibit. So if we follow the path, of course, we have this more, open area over here where you can just sit on a bench, and then you get to, I'm bumping up and down here because there's nothing under me, but then you get to this eating platform, this dining platform over here, this restaurant area, where you can of course also go as a normal visitor to get a very close up look onto the animals. I mean, look at that. This wildebeest is eating the springbok like they do in nature. They are a predatory animal that eat smaller antelopes. They're the only antelope species that do that. If you didn't know, wildebeest are also antelopes, despite them looking like cows. But and this one just decided to die and to sit here and wait for it being sacrificed. Anyway, joke aside, of course, you get, what I wanted to say is that you get a really close look, and it's only laying there because I used bedding here as a stand-in for hay, to give the impression that they have hay here to feed on. So that's why, I don't know, maybe I have to change that to something else that they don't use as sleeping material also. But really cool. You have 360 view onto the whole place, basically. If you stand here, you can look all around. I mean, there's a tree in the middle, but still, you get a 360 view onto the exhibit. And if I did anything correct, you shouldn't see a single bit of barrier, of the behind barrier on the other side. So everything should work out. I don't see anything here, so it's really cool. And if you want to see how I did it, you saw in the video, but that's basically how I did it. It's a bit more in the ground. I did a bit of a ditch here, a bit of a moat to even drag it further down. It is as high as it needs to be so that these animals don't escape. I don't deactivate escape in the sandbox option, so they could escape if they want to, but it is high enough, so it should probably be fine for a real zoo. But anyway, really happy how it turned out. Can't wait to work on the backstage area behind here, all the stables and stuff like that, and the outdoor behind the scenes exhibits basically. So that will be for something for next week. And to not make this video any longer, I would say we call it a day with this video here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I see you in the next video. And until then, I wish you a great time, stay safe, and bye bye everyone.